Hello, readers of Every Word, and welcome to Every Word 365. I'm your host, Christina Munoz-Madsen, and today we're reading Hosea 9 through 11. Have you been so offended by their actions that you shunned them? Remember, God showed his great love for us by sending Christ to die for us while we were still sinners. Think of someone whose lifestyle would normally cause you to avoid him or her and plan an action to demonstrate God's love. Ask the Holy Spirit to reveal through your love the extended hand of compassionate God. That is, of course, in today's Daily Walk, our devotional in our Bible. Several years ago, this reading came up right around the time of a highly publicized hack that led to thousands of names being exposed as alleged cheaters on the internet. I'm guessing all of you saw or heard about at least one name of someone that you knew or that you knew of. How did you respond? Were you shocked? If we're honest, probably some judgment. I know I did. But what I've been convicted about is how would I feel if my sins were plastered all over the internet and media. We all have temptations that we struggle with. Sometimes we win the battle and sometimes we don't. But none of us, not one of us, is without sin. Only Jesus was. And yet he was treated as a murderer. There are lots of marriages out there that went through devastation and major struggles because of this hack. And I'm sure Satan enjoyed every minute of it. So let's instead try to respond with compassion and, most importantly, prayer. Ever since I was attacked publicly through the media, it has changed how I have felt about people that are plastered all over TV. Maybe they're guilty, maybe they're not. Either way, I feel like the Bible would teach us that we have to have compassion for them. Also, was anyone else shocked and maybe a bit bothered by the part in 9:15 that says, "There I began to hate them"? Yikes. Well, here's a bit more on that. In Hosea 9:15a, likewise, God clearly states that his hatred results from Israel's specific wickedness, idolatry at Gilgal. In 9:15b, this is restated as wicked deeds in general, for which, again, the judgment of exile is imposed, rejection for disobedience. The shocker here is God's threat in Hosea 9:15c that he will stop loving them. How does this square with the idea that God is love and loves his people continually in spite of their sin or sinfulness? In Revelation 2:15, Jesus, the Anointed One, expresses his hatred of immoral teachings in the churches. We humans often say we can hate a person's actions without hating the person. God's hatred is understood in the same way here. The loss of love in Hosea 9:15c is a clarification of the preceding plan in verse 15b to display his hatred of Israel's stubborn idolatry, not by rejecting, but removing them from the land of Canaan, the inheritance which was conditioned on faithfulness to the eternal as the one true God. The word translated reject in Hosea 9:17 may also mean despise. This verse parallels those in which God hates Israel in terms of hating her rebellion against him. It specifies also that this despising is a result of Israel not listening to him. Israel, per se, is not hated, but her choice of independence from God's governance is. It should not be missed, Hosea 9:15c, that God's hatred of Israel's detestable deeds is provoked mainly by the nation's religious and political leaders. I want to be clear, this is attributable to an article called hearthevoice.com, but the link is no longer available. So I do apologize for that. Attribution means a lot to me, especially as a former journalist. So I like to give credit where credit is due. So I had pulled that earlier and it is no longer available, but that is who it is from. And I'm also including a link about more on Hosea 11:1, the Messianic message in there, which I always find so fascinating. And hey, tomorrow is the last day of Hosea. I told you that these minor prophets would go pretty quickly. So here we are at the end of another book coming up tomorrow. So happy reading. How would you like to go with us on a trip to Greece and see the ministry of the Apostle Paul firsthand and take a relaxing cruise of the Aegean Sea on this all-inclusive tour. We will land in Athens, and upon arrival in Athens, we are met by our guide and bus driver. We transfer to our hotel with the rest of the day at leisure, dinner and overnight at the hotel, and I'll be sharing much more about this incredible trip in the days to come. Message me if you want all the information. Hope to see you with us in Greece in 2025.